What's up, allies? We're back with another review, and this week we're taking a look at the next installment in the Sesame Street line from NECA, The Count. Let's take a look at it. All right, and here we are. We are back. I apologize that we have been gone for so long. We've had a few weeks here where we haven't put anything out. And, you know, what can I tell you? Life happens, and Larry and I have been busy shooting other things. But we're getting back to it, and we're starting off with this nice review of a toy I picked up while we were at RetroCon this year, which is the third installment in NECA's Sesame Street line. This is Count Von Count, of course. And let's start by taking a look at the box. Of course, he does have the little hanger piece in case the store you were at wanted to hang it. Obviously, I bought it from a dealer, so it wasn't like that when I got it. And neither were the other two, actually. They were on shelves at Target. Nevertheless, the box is the same. You may recall from the other two that they're designed to look like these books that were out in the late 70s, early 80s. And now you have a series of three of them there. And of course, one of the things, I don't generally talk about boxes all that much, but if you took these and wanted to put them on a shelf, if you were an in-box collector, you could easily do that, and the spines of them demonstrate the individual characters, and you could have them stacked like that. The only thing about it is, this is not, you know, some of these today, these little hanger things are on pieces that can tear off or whatever. It doesn't off of this box. But, yeah, that's sort of a minor nitpick for sure. Nevertheless, I just wanted to show it to you with the other two boxes to give you an idea of things that could be done. They can sit in Larry's seat for today here. Box is the same as the other ones were. You've got the relevant information on the top. The sides are identical on either side. Bottom has all of the legalese. And, of course, then on the back, you have the actual action figure posed as if he was on the show. And I got to tell you, much like the other two boxes, it is really difficult to tell whether you're looking at the actual Muppet or the toy. That's how well they've done here. This one's no exception to the rule. There is a little bit of Velcro here, which you can open it up. You get a shot of the figure, and there he is, the figure on full display there in a window. I'm trying to make sure the lights aren't blinding you completely there. And you can see him there in the box. He does have the same background in the box that the other two have had, so I'm not going to waste time showing you that. But I am going to get him out of the box, and then we're going to take a nice close look at him and everything he comes with. Okay, we're back. Whew, that was a little difficult to get him out of there. Just a quick note, NECA, this stuff here is plenty to hold the figure in. I had to practically claw to get the head out. And then, of course, you've got all those bands around this figure. Completely unnecessary, guys. It really is. I don't know why they keep doing that. It's insane. But I did finally get him out of the package here, and we can go ahead and start taking a look. We'll start by taking a look at the accessories. As we've come to expect with these guys, some of the accessories make sense and some not so much. Of course, we have the alternative head that they're doing. This one, of course, has the open mouth. The one he comes with is the closed mouth, so you can do either one. I wonder if his... No. Now, interesting enough here, I was checking the eyebrows because somebody told me, yep, they sure do. I pulled it out to be sure. Something I didn't show on the Bert and Ernie, I guess the eyebrows come off, so that you can exchange them. So in addition to the head, you could change which eyebrow you have on them or whatever. But in the Count's case, his do not do that, although they are separate from the side of the head. They're connected right onto the nose, right there in the bridge of the nose. So right here, they're actually loose. So I guess you could kind of move them around a little bit if you wanted to, in the sense you could kind of, you know, heat them up and pull them away from the head a little bit, or what have you, however you want to display it. You have that option. It's something you can do if you like it. He also comes with a bunch of extra hands here. We have the set of hands that can grip. We'll check those out later relative to the accessories. And then this is actually really neat. They have three other hands, each one gesticulating. One, two, and three. And I have to say that this is probably one of those instances, and probably the only one that I've ever seen, really, where I think the hands as an accessory, all these extra hands, actually amount to something because of the ability to gesticulate in the number of, as he's counting or what have you. I think that's a great idea. Of course, he has the grippy hands, and the ones he comes with are the open, sort of just relaxed hands. He also comes with a candelabra, which is weird because if you look at it from the top, you can see that there should be another candle coming off of this side, but there's not. So it looks very odd. I'm not sure why that was done that way. I mean, I imagine it fits in the box better. I don't know about that accessory, guys. I'm not real keen on that. Let's see if he'll hold it. That is. That is disappointing. You can sort of quasi get him to hold it. Not very well, and as you can see, it just sort of releases from his hand. I don't know what the purpose is of giving him these accessories if he can't. Let's see if I can't get it to hold better. You might have a better chance of getting him. You know what? Let me try it with the around the back side. No, he really doesn't want to hold it very well. We also have a phone. I guess you can count the number of ringy dingies coming in. If you know, you know. Let's see if he'll hold the receiver at least. Yeah, we can get him to hold the receiver so he can make a phone call. That's weird that he won't hold the candelabra. I suppose it's not all that important that he holds the candelabra, but, make more sense of it sitting on a piano or something like that. It's certainly more of a set piece than it is an accessory for him. But it's, again, you have the two of them. They're you could do whatever you want with them. I think the nicest accessory he has, really, the hands, the head, whatever. But of course, we have, continuing in the process, we have the number 2. Now, in previous releases, we had a C and we had an A. The C, mysterious by its absence, any use of a mouth or what have you, whereas the A had one. And now the number 2 has one. So they look pretty cool. I guess you could now say that this review is brought to you by the letters A, C, and the number 2. Such as it is. Anyway, he does come with that, and the 2 looks just fine with the previous release letters. Lastly, we have probably what is the nicest accessory, I would say, which is the cape. The cape is a really interesting combination of things here. It is a soft good. It is fabric. You got the beautiful green on the outside. You have the printed fabric on the inside. The cowl is actually plastic. It's like a real soft plastic so that it'll hold up well and actually stand up. And then he has these little loops here that he can put around fingers or hands in order to splay it out. But he also, and this is the best part, there is a piece of wire in this that you can feel right around the bottom edge here so that you could, bring it down or lower it or sort of pose it or do what have you with it. And there is a little clip on the inside. And this, if you look on the back of the clothing right here, there is a little spot where if you can get the fabric out of the way. Here's the problem: this fabric wants to bunch up right under the clip there, so you kind of have to scooch it out of the way, and then you can plug the clip in there, and see if I can get this to. There we go. And you can sort of play with the cape a little bit to get it in some sort of reasonable pose. I'll have to mess with it off camera a little bit more and see what I can get it to do. And of course he stands okay. You know, cape on. Looks great. So let's take a look at the articulation on this guy, and I have a feeling it's going to knock the cape off when I'm doing this, but we'll give it a go. Head is on a ball joint. It does get, well, yep, you can get down, not a huge amount, but you can. You can get up. Circles, actually a lot more than I thought it would with that collar. Yeah, you can literally get it the whole way around. That's nice. And he can kind of be confused or cock his head to the side. Shoulders. You know what? I'm going to take this cape off so we can see this. Shoulders. Boy, they're tight. You're not going to get 90 degrees. Looks like about that's where we're going to be right there. You can get all the way around. There's a bicep swivel at the elbow joint. Right at the top of the elbow joint. And the elbow itself, it'll get you better than 90 degrees. So that's pretty good. Wrists, circle around, all the way around. And you do have an in-out joint at the wrist as well. So that's really nice. Waist is on a swivel. You can get it the whole way around if you want to. I don't know why you would want that, but you could. The coat sort of impedes on the hips a little bit, but you can get about that far out. That's probably more than you would ever need with this guy. And front and back, you can get a fairly good walking or running pose. So I would say that for a Muppet, that's probably the most you're going to need. Again, I've said it before with some of these figures we've been reviewing. It's not exactly like a Mage Knight or something that's in these battle poses. It's a character from Sesame Street, so he doesn't necessarily have to have all of the articulation necessary. Knee joint bends at 90 degrees, and much like the figures before this, the joints all cover down really, really nice. Like, as it bends, you know, it doesn't really break up the sculpt to any real degree, and looks really, really good. And even in the photos, the still photos that are on the box, it's still hard to tell that those are joints and it's not a puppet, especially on a quick glance. You would think it's the actual puppet. Ankles. We can sort of get a bit of a toe tilt down, not much. A little bit up. It's very minimal. You do get a slight rocker. Again, probably more than you'd ever need with this guy, and the ankle will, does it turn? Now, a little bit, but not much. You can't, that's okay though, you can get a full 180, or 360, I guess I should say, at the knee, will spin around. So you can kind of fudge it with what other articulation you have. And, you know, he looks pretty good. If you're looking at him here, much like the figures beforehand, you know, there's a lot of attention paid to detail here in terms of the painting. This is the first character that's meant to be completely clean, whereas Bert and Ernie had dirty shoes or whatever. You know, the Count obviously is a character that's a lot cleaner. Paint looks fantastic. There is a great deal of effort in the sculpt to be true to the character. The hair looks great. The fleece, the detail on the fleece is sculpted in here for sure. I like the paint scheme on him, and I like the paint choice. It's not really shiny on the coat. It's sort of a halfway in between, and I think that works for anybody that's ever worn a tuxedo. I think we all know that. The one missing thing I wish they would have had, I wish they would have put a stripe down the leg, like a real shiny stripe down the leg to give you that look on the side of the tuxedo. I think that would have been cool. I really do. I think that's the only thing that's missing here that I would have liked to have seen. Looks pretty good. Yeah, let's see if I can get this back on. Yeah. And I'm curious if... These loops here that are on the cape, I want to see if this will hook to the thumb or what's going to happen here. Yeah, there we go. I will point out that although the cloak has these little loops on it, and they do connect to the hands okay, I'm not sure that they would connect to all the hands as equally well, like especially these that are gesticulating. I have a feeling that you're going to be out of luck on that respect, that it's going to be, just this one and maybe the gripping hand, you might be able to get it on the thumb on that one, but that's probably about it, as far as getting the cloak on his hands. But it looks pretty good. And there he is with Bert. I don't have Ernie handy, but I do have Bert. And you can see, I'd say that size works out, and I think they look pretty good together. So let's wrap this up. All right, so in closing on this guy, I would say that my biggest problem with this is the cloak, I think, could fit a little better. It's a very small peg that goes in there, and I think depending on how you move them around, you're running the risk of that falling off, which I don't think was necessary. I think you could have done a little bit better with that. I'm not sure what the answer would have been. I do like the fact that the cape has the posing metal in it, and I think that makes it a lot easier to work with. But I think it could be even easier if these hands were done in such a way that the loops were a little bit easier to work with, especially considering you have all these hands. And really, by the looks of it, the one that it's going to work with the best is the hands that it comes with. And I'm not sure that the others would be that way. And the reason I think that's a problem is I would think you would want him to be able to just, to hold on to the edge of the cloak with those hands. And I don't see how he would really do that. So, and that seems to be the problem all around here. The other negative aspect is the fact that you've got the accessories, and much like accessories we've looked at before with these guys, they can't necessarily hold all of them. And to me, that doesn't make any sense. Why have the accessory if you can't even use it? Him walking through a hallway or something like that, holding the candelabra, does make sense, but he really can't do it that effectively, as we've seen. He can hold the receiver for what little bit that's worth, although I don't know why you would want the count on the phone. I suppose some of this stuff you have to assume that they're putting in here for use later on down the line. Perhaps there's going to be a play set or something like that where this stuff would become useful. Who knows? Or if you were somebody who builds dioramas or whatever to put the figures in, I could see where you would do that. But other than that, other than those couple of little nitpicks, that's the only thing negative that I have to say. On the positive side, though, there's a lot to say. Again, much like the previous two releases, the paint looks great. The sculpt looks amazing. I love the fact that they went with a cloth cape here and put the little posing, I would assume it's some type of wire that they use like for another arts and crafts and stuff was what's in there, but it allows you to pose the cape and make it look good. I do like that the little loops are on the cape that you can get the hands to kind of hold on. I wish it was a little bit of a different way that they did that so that all the hands could do it. Another major positive I'd like to point out, I really hate the use of all of these hands as an excuse for, it comes with this many accessories. I always think that's dumb. In this case, however, I actually am going to compliment this because of the gesticulating fingers. I think what it does for the character is phenomenal. He can count to 3, and that's something he wouldn't be able to do without those extra hands. So I think it works pretty good in that respect. Love the number 2 with him. I'm glad they went with a number for the count instead of a letter. I think that makes a whole lot more sense. So all in all, I think he's great. He looks great with the other figures, and I'm excited to have him in the line. And I can't wait to see what's next from NECA. They're doing a great job with these figures. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, allies.